Hi, welcome back to Cambridge Inside Out. I'm Judy Nathans.
And I'm Robert Winters. And this is the 200th half-hour installment of...
Under Robert Winters and my previous...
yeah, I mean, just again...
I'm the successor.
Right, not to dwell on this too much, but
yeah.
the name Cambridge Inside Out, we used to call it the Cambridge Inside Out, the sequel. We probably should still call it that. But, the original Cambridge Inside Out ran... was it something like 12 years?
Wow, that's amazing.
On Continental Cablevision, its the predecessor.
First American, I think, whatever it was.
Yeah, American Cable Systems. It was in the vicinity of about that.
It was actually on their channel.
Yeah, and it ran through about the year 2001, I believe.
Yeah, but it wasn't a public access show. It was a cable show.
And when it ended, I
show local stuff.
So yeah, and it was modeled originally, according to Glenn Kuchar, who was really the host of it.
Yeah.
It was modeled on the McLaughlin Group.
Right.
John McLaughlin passed away this past year, actually.
Right.
And so the format of that was not like this. We're just two people on a camera, right?
Different, yeah.
But it was a fully produced thing. It had chairs around a table.
It was kind of like the Greater Boston show with, except they have a desk. But
so there were like 4 or 5 regular panelists.
Definitely like McLaughlin Group.
And Glenn Kuchar would open the show, except for the few times when he wasn't there. And it was Barbara Ackerman, Glenn Kuchar, Tom Rafferty, Marty Foster, and Barbara Ackerman. Sandra Graham. It was largely the same people, but they did rotate through some other people who'd sit in as a panelist. Ed Sear was a panelist sometimes. I was a panelist a few times.
Did they tend to have 2 different viewpoints, or?
Well, more than 2.
All right, well,
Sandra Graham had a certain point of view, and sometimes
pretty far to the left.
Yeah, so you could kind of set Sandra off on certain things. Barbara Ackerman was a different point of view.
Moderate.
Yeah. So, but they was always good natured. I think ultimately they liked each other, even when they had very different points of view.
She's gone, isn't she, Barbara Ackerman?
I don't know where Barbara Ackerman is these days.
No, I think she died.
No, I think she's no.
Really?
I believe she's still around.
Sorry, but
But the thing is that the show ran a long time, and when it ran out, because they changed the cable TV laws, and the cable operator was no longer obliged to provide community access anything, so they said, "You're gone. That's it."
Yeah.
They had, I think, the option of possibly doing it with CCTV at the time, but CCTV was a little more primitive in those days. It would have been really hard to do. But I got a message when the day it ended from Glenn, said, "Well, it's all on you now." Thanks a lot, Glenn.
Yeah.
But anyway, when we agreed to, Susanna and I agreed to sort of do this in the lead up to the 2013 election, actually.
Okay.
It wasn't necessarily intended to be a permanent thing at all. But we just continued doing it. So, but we were looking for a name, and so we were at a barbecue at Glenn Kuchar's house, and we said, "Hey, Glenn, can we use the name?" He said, "Oh yeah, sure. You can't copyright a name." So we did. So,
Cambridge Inside Out.
Yeah, so...
Redux.
Yeah, I don't know how many shows of Cambridge Inside Out were actually recorded back then, and many of them don't exist anymore. They were
You
not...
showed a couple, didn't you?
I have a few
that
I snagged off a videotape.
That was really good.
And then
one on rent control. Did we show that?
Oh, yeah.
That was really good.
And I have a few more, I think, but I have to sit down.
I wouldn't mind seeing that.
I'm going to try and one of these days sit down and see if I can find a few more. They've just been sort of gathering dust on some videotapes in my living room. But and they were interesting. It's like a nice little window into that period of years in the 1990s primarily. I think I have at least one with Bob Healy with nice jet black hair.
Oh my, no.
Yeah, sure.
Wow.
So I'm going to find a few more.
Okay.
Right? But anyway, this is our 200th episode in the new version of Cambridge Inside Out. Anyway, worth mentioning.
Yes, definitely.
And again, tip of the hat to Glenn Kuchar, the great man, the creator. Right? We should have him back on the show again one of these days. Actually, speaking of people who come on the show sometimes, sometimes it's just us, but one of the things, since this is a municipal election year, at some point, and there's no rush, we'd certainly love to have some candidates come on here, especially some of the new candidates, and just sort of, introduce yourself. I think
free airtime.
It's free airtime. Yeah, we just we're not necessarily going to have everybody on or anything.
Well,
but
I could see somebody complaining, well, you had this person on, and, if there's 20 candidates, that would be every show.
There's no obligation to have every candidate on.
And it wouldn't be for the whole
Right.
2 segments, by the way. It would just be for one segment,
Yeah, a lot of people, incumbents in particular, they have more than enough airtime on.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking the incumbents, Robert. I was thinking of all the people who do not get enough
I'd
publicity.
actually love to get a few of them in there. Actually,
Right.
there's one fellow who I think will become a candidate. We mentioned his name last week, was Sean Tierney. So I'm going to meet with him this week, I think. And I said, hey, if you want to come on the show. So, extend the same invitation to others.
Okay.
If you're a new candidate, come on and introduce yourself. So let's see. That's one little piece of stuff coming. Another thing, I think, did I mention? Yeah, we mentioned about some of the public meetings that we're having this week here.
Yeah.
Envision Cambridge and what have you. The city council did meet this week.
Did not meet this week.
Right, but they'll meet
next Monday.
Next Monday, so that's coming up. But one of the things I should comment on here is that, there were some relatively lean years for the Cambridge Chronicle, but I have to say they're doing a pretty damn good job lately. So I don't know how they kind of reshaped things a little bit here, but I think their reporters are doing a pretty good job of covering certainly some of the civic and things and some sort of human interest stories. I think there was one story about there was a person who was like a historian of the Cambridge Fire Department.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so they actually put together. Yeah.
So the articles that are on Wicked Local, are they also in the regular? I try to catch the print edition at the library.
I think ultimately they are.
Or do they separate?
Yeah, the Cambridge Chronicle is a free paper now. You can get a paid subscription if you want it sent to your home.
I never can find it. Where is it?
We only have copies at City Hall. We have a few places.
A few, yeah.
Yeah, so you can pick one up at some even. It's kind of hard to imagine like a regular newspaper stand actually having something.
Well, I know the library had them. In fact, I'll check the Central Square, but they don't always have them. So I don't think it used to get a lot of copies. I don't think they make that many, print that many to give away. Let's put it that way.
Actually, let's give you one little interesting thing here. Well, maybe we'll even click on one of these stories here.
Which one?
Because where it used to be the politicals, the local politicos, because it used to be the Cambridge Chronicle would come out on Thursday.
Right, it still does.
Come in the mail, but the thing is you could pick up at the newsstand on a Wednesday night.
Oh, okay.
Right? So that's when the press run was done. It was ready.
Which article should I look at? Counselors attack delays?
No, let's do the one about Nini's Corner or Crimson Corner.
Which one? Crimson looks to relocate?
Yeah, right. And sort of see if we get that one right in here. All right, so here we go. So this is just one of many. We just close up in the upper right hand corner.
I know. So they're trying to get you to subscribe.
Okay. So it's for many of us. There's in addition to out of town news, which is sort of in jeopardy, the out of town newsstand will likely not last too much longer. But many of us were pretty happy that there was still Nini's Corner, which apparently is called Crimson Corner these days.
I see.
Which was right there at the corner, kind of where the Coop building is. But apparently that's going to become a place called, I think, And Pizza or something.
Really? Because Otto's Pizza is just right over here that is opened up.
There is like a proliferation of pizza
Although it's
places.
not, you can't really sit
in there. And I love
there.
pizza, but but
you have upper crust on the other side.
I personally would really hate to see both Nini's Corner as well as out of town news disappear.
Where do you get your
now,
print
that
materials?
said, how often do I actually pick up a newspaper or magazine? I never buy them anymore.
Me
but
either.
once upon a time, I would pick up the Chronicle there. Back when it was sort of the
well, I guess that's why it's going, Robert, because you don't buy one and I don't buy one.
Yeah.
Well, I get the Globe, but.
Right, but I thought it was sort of appropriate to mention here is that once upon a time the circulation of the Cambridge Chronicle used to be much higher than it is these days.
I used to get it years ago, but then
it's largely a lot of it is an online presence now for many people. But I have to again I mean this sincerely that I've been looking at some of the writing that people have been doing and I've actually been pretty impressed. So keep it up.
No, it's good.
Right? Keep it up and it's sort of a good way to see what's happening around town. One other item, we just showed the headline there, but I just want to go to this other one here about...
Which one, the retired fire captain?
No, let's do the one about the Advocates Merger Boost of Cambridge Small Businesses.
Oh, yeah, right.
Here. And I'll just sort of mention what this one is about here and use it as sort of to segue into another thing that's worth mentioning. So, okay, this is a story in the Cambridge Chronicle, I guess it's this week, or maybe it's last week, about the merger. Again, this is not that thrilling, to be sure, but
it's interesting. I didn't know.
But it's interesting. There's an Inman Square Business Association, there's an East Cambridge Business Association, and they've decided to sort of just team up for their mutual benefit, right? Now, why do I consider that an interesting thing? You know, and I don't know. Let's just sort of scroll down just to sort of show that it's not just a picture and a headline. That there really is.
Yeah, there's a big article here.
There really is a story in here telling about this, and you know,
Whalen, he did a lot of stories.
Putting a lot of the detail work in there. You know, so anyway, just to mention why I was bringing it up here was that. You know, I used to go up to city council meeting for years, and somebody from the Cambridge Chamber of Commerce would be at every meeting. It was predictable, and then they would sort of give the Cambridge Chamber of Commerce point of view about whatever was being discussed or talked about or proposed. And you know, it was a regular thing, and that tradition has somewhat disappeared. I mean, we do have a presence some meetings from the Chamber of Commerce. But I will predict that I think we're going to start to see a greater presence once more, because David Marr, city councilor, former mayor, is now actually on the job working as exec director. I guess.
Wait, he's working now?
Yeah.
He's doing. Oh, I guess you can do both. Yeah.
Quite a few city
councilors. That's true. But I thought he had another job too. But who knows?
He used to work for Cambridge Children and Family Services.
Okay. All right. So he's already working as executive
on the
director.
job. Yeah.
It's not a conflict of interest with.
Well, I'm sure if there was anything that would even slightly suggest a conflict,
Trump, of course.
he would demur.
Recuse, is that the word? Recuse himself?
Yeah, from something that was. But the thing is that it's not like the chamber is owning property or proposing zoning petitions or anything.
You know more about these institutions. I mean, you have I didn't know there was an East Cambridge business. I didn't know there was an Inman Square. I know there was a Harvard Square and there's a Central Square. How do those places, organizations relate to the Cambridge Chamber? Do they
I'm not so sure that they do.
Are they members of the, I mean, what does the Cambridge Chamber do?
You know,
that community development doesn't do.
It's sort of like any of these business associations. They're like membership organizations. So you pay dues, and then they speak up. So there's a Central Square Business Association.
Right.
They fundamentally represent their members.
Okay.
So they'll speak up for favor of business, but they have an advocacy group that I'll actually sometimes go there because I'm on the Central Square Advisory Committee. I want to hear what they have to say. And they'll, sort of look out for and promote the best interests of Central Square, but they will never in any way address what's happening in Harvard Square.
Right, well that's understandable. So then I'm assuming, I mean, to me, the Cambridge Chamber should be, but it's really only to advocate for their members that decide to belong to them.
Right. Now once upon a time you had an entity like, there are property owners, and the universities, whatever, who are not necessarily tied to a specific square.
So they might be members.
Right. So you might be a member of the larger Chamber of Commerce as opposed to being a member of the Central Square Business Association or what have you. Right. So it used to be the case that the chamber would chime in on larger issues.
Okay, but that's my point. I have not really heard their voice in the times I've been following the city council. Why is that?
Well, I mean, Sarah Kennedy will come up and speak to certain things. I think with the they were present at some of the meetings this past year and continuing this year, having to do with inclusionary zoning.
Okay, they were. All right.
So they were definitely speaking up for that. Okay. I mean, there are a lot of property owners who I think are members of the Chamber of Commerce.
Okay, so their job is sort of be an advocate for their members when the issues come up.
But it's interesting because what's happened actually over the last 15 years, I'm going to just throw a number out there, you see this sort of growth, spawning of new entities, like there's Cambridge Local First.
Well, exactly, right.
Now,
Sustainable
at some
Business
level,
Network.
Exactly. So all of these things really are, you're still talking about the local economy, and and it's not just representing residents, it's really representing businesses, largely small businesses, maybe for Cambridge Local First. Yeah. But it all seems a little scattershot to me. Individual business associations, now they're merging and whatever, but they're representing their narrow interests most of the time. It would be good, I hope, and we'll see it, especially with David Marr, who's a person who's
he's been on the inside. He's been on the out. It's an interesting position.
So maybe let's hope that you will see in 2017 and onward, kind of through David and others, we'll put a voice to kind of the shared interests of Cambridge Local First, the Chamber of Commerce, the various business associations, so they can kind of speak in a little bit more of a unified way. I think that would be a good thing. They should not be in conflict with resident groups. In fact, I'll just say that when we were involved with a group called the Central Square Neighborhood Coalition about 15 or so years ago, we worked very much cooperatively with the Business Association, which was really good for us because the Business Association had some resources that we didn't. We were just residents, right?
Right.
But we had shared interests. I mean, we wanted a place for residents to be able to sort of enjoy Central Square. The businesses wanted the business of people, so we could sort of help with that. And this is they didn't have to be kind of at odds with each other, And I don't think that business community or property owners in general in Central Square need to be at odds with residents in the city at all. So anyway, I'm kind of hope this is sort of on my wish list of how I think things shake out as the days come. So when anyway, spurred by a Cambridge Chronicle article about the merger of the East Cambridge and Inman Square Business Associations, right? But anyway, I do find these things to be, sort of interesting things going on. There's one other article, again, maybe we're being a little random on this here.
Well, we've certainly given a shout out to, by the way, that article, it said January 13th, so maybe it'll be in this week's, but it was not in last Thursday's.
Yeah, I think sometimes nowadays,
it's just online,
and I think you'll start to see this more and more happening.
Yeah.
And you actually, even with the Boston Globe too.
Oh, yeah.
Where you'll see articles that are going to be sort of breaking news, will be sort of having an internet presence, and then they will make it to the print desk. For publication in the print version the following day.
So is there another article here that you like?
There's one thing here, just because I'm going to just gripe a little bit here. The very first one about TT the Bears owners, all right? Again, it will just sort of just fire away over here for a sec here. Do this one here. So this is a story. The fact that it's TT the Bears isn't so important here, but apparently, so what happened when TT's closed, there's a liquor license, a full liquor license that was associated with the joint. And these things are saleable. They are transferable. You can sell them. But you can't pocket them. They call it a pocket license if you have it, but you're not actually using it. There's a time frame after which you have to sell it to somebody or lose it, forfeit it. And basically it just goes back to the license commission, and the license commission could issue another license at their pleasure.
So wait, so they paid that much money to get it? It's a one-time payment?
I doubt that. No, the amount that you actually pay the license commission is a small fraction of that. But what happens is if you have a finite number of licenses that are around, and this is somewhat changed with these so-called no-value licenses that were being issued in recent years, that once you had it, then it was a marketable item. So if somebody wanted, if you felt like retiring and somebody else wanted to...
Oh, it's like the medallions, like the tax medallions.
Like they're very similar to tax medallions. Now, some of the intrinsic value of these things, if there is such a thing as intrinsic value, are kind of going away. You just sort of scroll down here, just to sort of take a little peek at it. Again, not to spend too much time on it, but just to sort of show here that this is something where this license, basically you got to use it or lose it. I think there are some restrictions about where you can use it. It kind of makes it for a very constrained situation. But anyway, I thought I would just sort of highlight that idea about liquor licenses. It actually was all over the news over the last few years because there was some rulemaking. I think it was a court decision that came down about the fact that the licenses that the Cambridge was issuing that were so-called no-value licenses, done in the spirit of just making it possible for many more local residents, cap or no cap on liquor licenses, just to be able to serve beer and wine. Well, apparently those no-value licenses can be transferred and sold, and you can't. So anyway, the rules are changing here. I'm not 100% sure where we're standing right here, right now. But that's similar. And again, this is sort of looking forward to 2017 and beyond. How the matter of liquor licenses plays itself out in the long term, I'm not so sure. Right? There's a lot more just pouring licenses. Maybe every place will have the right to serve beer and wine, and maybe they should.
right?
Yeah, we'll have that
So
too, right? So maybe people won't care.
Drunken stone.
But the taxi cab medallions that people would be buying $500,000 or $400,000 for the right to pick up passengers. Well, Lyft and
they're not
Uber
paying $1 million.
have pretty much gutted that market. I'd be surprised that
I know.
I'm surprised that taxi cab medallions have much value at all anymore.
No, they've gone down and down and down.
They've been plummeting.
Yeah.
So that's going to be interesting to see how that shapes up as time goes on in the new sharing economy.
Right.
Right. Pretty soon, maybe I don't know what the costs associated with running a hotel. But maybe if you pay a big exorbitant price to run a hotel, that everybody else is running Airbnbs.
Somehow, I think hotels are a slightly different category.
They are different,
because Airbnbs are still, you're staying in someone's home or something. Yeah, it's a little different.
Typically, yeah.
Although you're getting into a stranger's car too, but a little more short-lived.
But it's definitely this is like an evolving thing. Things that we used to sort of take as absolutely for granted
it's changing.
Are very, very, very much changing. Yeah. So let's see, what else we got to say here today? I think maybe say, well, actually, one thing I've actually surprised, I actually looked this afternoon.
Yeah.
I wanted to see what the status was, if there were any new political candidates showing up.
Did you put anything more on there?
Well, yeah, I think nothing has changed since a week ago.
All right.
We still have, we mentioned Sean Cherney as a possible candidate. Who hasn't
Sean, I thought you said John.
No, Sean.
Okay, Sean, okay.
Yeah. But the thing is that I keep looking over at the state and just sort of see whether anybody else is sort of filing. But nope, there was like a flurry of them.
How do you do that? Is that online?
On the Office of Campaign Political Finance.
Right, yeah.
Should probably put a link in here so we can look it up on their own.
Yeah.
But I actually was poking around today just to sort of see, I mean, in a certain way, this is kind of almost obscene that we're even considering that this early, but...
What are you talking about? The presidential election is a year and a half ahead.
I know,
This is only now 9 months.
But it used to be that municipal elections and candidates, it was really kind of a little out of line to even be talking too much about it before maybe March or something.
Yeah, well.
Right, I think typically, I remember when there were some very prominent retirements from the city council, they would make an announcement around March or April, and then the candidates would emerge who might then seek those.
Well, I think because David Marr took the position of the Chamber of Commerce, it could have just spurred this on.
Well, we've been having actually the last few years, there've been last few municipal election cycles, there have been candidates who sort of let their presence be known in December before the following November's election, and certainly have actually actively soliciting funds during the very first few months of the municipal election year. So, whether it's a good thing or not, I can't say for sure, but it's something that is definitely happening. But I did actually look at some of the numbers today to sort of see who's actually raising money.
Okay.
No, I'm not going to make a big deal. It's not posted here. We don't have any pictures
let's see
to
who's
do it
raising
here.
money.
Well, one thing it kind of makes it hard to actually split this out is that there are some people who have run for other seats. So, for example, Leland Chung.
Right.
And I should say, when you're just running a municipal election campaign, the way your campaign finances are reported are done with twice a month from bank reports.
Okay.
And then there are also some periodic reports as well. In a annual cycle kind of way.
You have to keep your campaign separate though? Like he ran for one office?
No, you can use exactly the same campaign account, but then you file a change of purpose form, which they did. Leland Chung, for example, filed recently, this past week, changed his purpose from running for state senate, which ended in September for him, to running for municipal office.
So when people gave him money for state senate, they knew that it may get changed to his other thing?
If the check was made out to committee to elect Leland Chung,
then it's just the money's gone. It can be used for anything to elect him to anything.
Yeah, political purposes.
I didn't realize that.
Oh yeah, sure. So, but it's very hard when you see. So Leland had at the last report, he had a significant balance still in his. But I don't know. The problem is he's not yet been subject to the bi-monthly or the semi-monthly reports. So I don't know how much he actually has. But so I'm not going to give the number here, but he seemed to have the highest percentage. But Tim Toomey is still on the state rep cycle, not the city council one. We'll see how that shakes out. Of all of the candidates who are city council candidates who are actually running, because David Marr still has money in his account, but he's not
What
going to be a
happens to him?
candidate.
Because if he doesn't run, he has to give that money up, or can he give it to someone else?
There are limits, but he could write a check. He could support other candidates.
He could.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They do that all the time.
So but it has to be for political purpose. He can't just put it into a savings account.
Now, he can't buy new shingles for his home either, right? No.
Could he
that
give
would
it
be
to a
serious
nonprofit?
crime. He can and does. Right.
Cool.
And they do that. And actually, some of the candidates actually use their campaign finances to actually support Little League teams and a lot of other things.
That's
I mean,
nice.
to me, that's actually that's a mark of a really sort of a good civic egg. Somebody who actually does
Good
that.
PR. Yeah.
So as of right now, the highest number is actually Nadeem Mazen has raised a significant amount of money. He has about 18,000 in there. Still, almost all of it coming from outside of Cambridge. Dennis Carlone has about almost $18,000 to burn. Mark McGovern has about $15,000 to burn. So it's nice that you can start off the year before you start doing the solicitation for funds for this year's cycle.
So no one's in the red.
No. Jan Devereaux's got over $13,000 to burn, right? Of the new candidates, only Quentin Zondervan has really started to raise some money. He's got over $3,600, which is good to get started. So anyway, it's happening. We'll sort of I'll be paying attention as the year plays itself out here. So there are some of the candidates who we've mentioned before. Who will not be running again this year, who were candidates last time, and we'll see. There were some of the perennial candidates. We don't know actually how that's all going to shake out.
So when do you think we'll know all that? When do they have to submit signatures by?
They'll pick up papers in July 1st and
not till
turn them
then.
in at the end of the month. You get a month.
So basically,
anyway, amazingly, this 200th anniversary show is now winding down to the last few.
Oh, good. It's getting weary.
Yeah. But anyway, we'll be back and
I'll report from the DC inauguration.
That's right.
Women's March next week.
I'll not be there.
No.
But good for you. So anyway, we'll see you next week.
Good night.